Yep. All right, cool. I was muted. Sorry, chat. Everything is just going crazy on my end here because I got an email just before starting and figured I kind of had to respond to it. So I'm a little thrown off my game. I was a little muted. So Worm got first, Jeremy second. Thank you all for being here. But yeah, here I am. Hot, messy, Sticks intern. Ready to hang out, have a good time. I wish to goodness we were playing PvP. Is it still no sound? It's showing a sound on my end. Let me know if I mean, there's really no good way to communicate it. You seem about 30 seconds behind me, so I'll wait that long. That seems doable. I can wait that long. But yeah, chat. PvP is so epic. I love it. I like am itching to play more of it. I've been doing a lot of fun stuff with expeditions. I got them set up over here on Serendale, doing foraging, and thank you, Dewey. And the foraging is going well. I like it. So I only got commons though. I basically moved a bunch of commons from my main wallet over here, and part of my fun that I'm having doing that, excuse me, is I'm using DFK Helper to kind of just generate a bunch of summons from available heroes on my Serendale wallet. And like just options, not like actually make the summons. And I look through those and I just kind of rip a few of them. So I think I'm going to just get that process rolling while we chat about other DFK stuff. Right? Right. Okay, good. So slash find match is what I type into DFK Helper. Then I write SD, then I write all. And now it's going to just kind of take a couple minutes and generate me that list. And then I will also get some summoning juice going. PvP. All right. So what did I think about the changes from weekend 1 to weekend 2? Seems like a good place to start. I thought repeating shot was a lot better balanced weekend 2. It wasn't like something I could use on turn 2 consistently to get a kill. I kind of had to get lucky with the rapid shot, critting 2 arrows into someone or hitting all 3 arrows into someone. And then them not responding to be able to really pull that off consistently. But it was good as like a closer from mid health, and setting it up mid game was fun, I think, for both the audience and the players, kind of like trying to balance when to use the rapid shot so that you have the repeating shot available, and like can they respond in that amount of time that you've that they have, the turns that they have between your rapid and repeating shot. And in a lot of good games that I enjoyed, there were my opponent would like set up rapid shot when his guy was just like fast enough that he was skipping my next turn, right? So like he had the rapid repeating combo set up in a window where I couldn't do anything about it, and that was really cool. That was really cool. So yeah. What about potions? Right? I think potions were bugged. It may have not have been a bug. Some are rumoring that it was intentional, but there were 15 potion weight available, stone weight, and I thought that was just kind of too much because I really like the way the stone weight was balanced at 11, because this let you do a kind of it let you do right like a single swiftness potion, but also either of these two like permanent debuff removers. So you could still kind of do that one defensive action, but you couldn't do a swiftness potion at the health vial or the mana vial. So I thought that was actually a really good balance between those 5 potions at the very least. And then the full health potion and the full mana potion are both 8. So I think those are interesting because you can do one of those and one of these smaller ones. But if you do that, then you can't remove like either of these permanent debuffs. So playing with the potions felt like a very interesting aspect of the game. But I think at 15, it was just kind of too easy. You could throw on the speed potion and still use 2 vials. And like that was kind of crazy because you got the initiative back from using the files and you're faster to begin with, so you're just getting more extra turns in, and it felt, I don't know, the swiftest potion didn't have enough of a trade-off, so that's why I liked 11 better. I thought it had more of a trade-off there. What else? Knights with range 2, I think this change was live the first weekend, but Knights with range 2 on their tier 3 abilities are wild. They are absolutely wild. I am full on fan of Knights now. Just full on fan. And I think they're super powerful. It helps a lot even in the boars, because you see the boars, what they do is like you would normally have to get any really value out of the days on the knight against the mama boar when she's exhausted, you would have to kill both of the babies. Now it's just, if you kill one, you can get that exhaustion consistently with the knight that days in the exhaust, or at least more consistently than before, I should say, because it's not 100%. But I think that feels very impactful. Also, the traits in PvE feel good. I used Blinding Winds the first night the traits came out, and had like 3 games in a row where the big boar or the big bok like missed all 3 players or all 3 heroes with the AoE, and I was just like, yep, I love that, I'm sold. And I was already using the Berserker somewhat for poisons in the box, but being able to put that on blinding, or on the poison blade with just like a lot of heroes, really opened up a lot of options. What other things do I like? A Giant Slayer feels really nice. I will say that, guys. Especially for like tank busting. I was getting beaten a lot this weekend with 2 kind of bruiserish, tanky-ish heroes. It was like a knight and a warrior, both kind of built for, like the warrior kind of built for that AoE damage with the cleave and the whirlwind, and just kind of slowing everyone and putting bleeds on, and like a lot of times I saw him with Excalibur, so that also slows, which was like, that felt powerful. But the knight comboed with it, you had a lot of threat onto that second spot, the P2, the middle position, but you didn't have a lot of threat onto the third spot if you had a healer. You did if you had an archer. So that's an interesting balance trade-off, right? Because the knight and the warrior both have abilities that redirect damage, and in the knight's case, one that redirects status effects from the hero standing directly behind them. So if you're in P1 and you got someone in P2, it's going to get them. But if you got the closest person behind you is in P3, like that's not going to do anything. You're going to have to move one of those heroes to make it work. And I think that opens up a lot of interesting play for if someone is building into that kind of knight warrior combo to kill the healer or the damage dealer who is in that second row. Reposition becomes a very powerful tool in ruining their plans, right? Say like, oh, you see Rapid Onslaught just came off cooldown, he has the cleave, I reposition this guy in the middle to the back guy, assuming that they're healthier, right? And you kind of have you've ruined a kill combination setup just by that move, which if you want to watch someone do that, DFK Elite did it quite a few times, but he also played a lot, so you're gonna have to sit through a lot of really good content if you want to watch someone do that. But I recommend it. He was fun to watch. What else? Tournament stuff was fun. I watched Just and Sir Worm commentate the 5-hour jam sesh. Apologies once again for my tardiness. But yeah, it was a really good time. I stand by the Priest Berserker Seer composition that I ran. I think Just doesn't see the vision for how the comp is supposed to work based on his commentary, but I can't blame him, right? Because to see the vision, you kind of gotta, be a little crazy, and it's not orthodox strategy, really. And it was a little slightly different from the double priest one, because I was going artillery fire with the seer. I just don't think I executed it very well, but the plan was supposed to be quite different from the double priest. I mean, the plan always works well in your head, right? But I was happy that Dragonfly Tales just absolutely crushed me. I think if he hadn't done the Holy Wrath with his priest, my Seer could have lived through that turn, and that game could have turned in my favor pretty quickly. But that didn't happen. And Dragonfly Tales won the tournament. Mythic vibes, baby. And I loved that. I loved watching I Know Kung Fu dropping the triple archer and teaching a bunch of people like lessons in damage production and amount. That was really cool. Just ripping them with the triple archer, a la Skiller. And what else did I enjoy from the PvP weekend? Like playing the game is super fun. I honestly I went to play boar hunts 2 nights ago, and like we didn't they'd cut off our access, and I was just like, man, the boars feel like not the same because and they shouldn't feel the same. So it's not like a critique of boars. It's just how awesome I loved the PvP. It was like I could just sit there and like play it just for the fun of it. It was really cool seeing a lot of different people's heroes showcased because of the what am I looking at? Because of the catalog availability and the the fact that you could play with anyone's heroes. Like I don't want them to do that in the real game, but for these weekend showcases, it was kind of cool just seeing what kind of sick combos could be made with just the most well statted up or kind of kitted up with equipment heroes in the game. I think the one of the funnest comps I saw was actually a double support. It was a Seer Priest Archer run by DFK Elite in a lot of his streams, and it kind of revolved around one person's hero. And it was interesting because I saw the person's hero being used, and then I saw that Eternal Zenith had made a Twitter account, and they were running this hero showcase series, which is super cool, by the way, just as a side note. I love that. I think it's super cool. And one of those, like one of the heroes, that hero, the priest that DFK Elite was using to make this comp work, was in there. And I think he had it was 57 agility, was it? Oh, I also got to limit it to priest. That's my problem. That's my problem, chat. There it is. Graham Cragweaver. Man, and so this belongs to Ibla, one of the ways, Ibla probably, in Eternal Zenith. And look at this Agi. So even though, like DFK Elite was saying that, like even though the Wiz and the Int like aren't over 50 and aren't like mind-blowingly high numbers, the fact that this priest was able to go first and go often made his composition really strong with the Seer, and it was really interesting to see unique combinations like that come out. Another hero that really impressed me to play with was the Chen Zerker, the Fran Zerker, which is officially licensed by Boxside Chats. I have a non-exclusive grant to use the word Fran Zerker, but oh man, can I just like filter it by owner? I think it was kitted out with black and it had a Scally's eye. It was 20, wasn't it? I believe it was. Maybe it's not in black. I didn't know you could equip the Excalibur to a Berserker. That's cool. Here, let me just flip the cards here, and I can see who owns them. Oh, this one's owned by Chen. Is this the one? I'm not sure. 67 strength. Oh, maybe he took the equipment off of it after the weekend. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But either way, Franz had a really, really sweet one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, this one has the Scally's eye. Yeah, it's got to be this one. So check this out. Got Berserker Shapeshifter, 62 strength, 31 agi, 43 dex. And with the Scally's eye, like he had a 100% chance to hit after factoring in the enemy's evasion with his abilities, not even just his basic attack. And so that Berserker felt insane. I do think overall, though, the Berserker as a class felt much weaker in the PvP weekends than most of the other ones. Seer kind of had some health issues because they were easily snipeable by the archer with a like they were still kind of really easy to snipe with a repeating shot. But I don't really know how you fix that because they just kind of have that really low health growth chance all the time. So it's kind of an interesting issue to deal with. But overall, though, when they like were able to survive the archer's damage and were able to get through it, they felt very impactful. They did a lot and kind of had a lot of game changing moments. But berserkers, it was like you're going in and you're either relying on going berserk so that you can randomly hit some backline guy and then your other damage can follow up on it. But like, why do that when I could just target the backline guy using another class? So I don't know. I want to like berserkers so much. I just doesn't having any luck with them. Perhaps it is a skill issue. Perhaps it is a skill issue. We can never be sure. We can never be sure. It's a skill issue probably. But either way, that was how I felt. Knight and Warrior both felt pretty good, pretty strong. I came into the weekend saying that I hated Cleave the most, and then I left the weekend with Cleave as like my most often slotted talent, or whatever the skill is or ability in the discipline. So that's interesting. See, opinions can change quickly. That opinion changed when I saw how effective Karma's was at bopping my midline with the Warrior Knight combo with a Priest or an Archer. Shout out to 91 Karmas. Really, really fun playing him too. And Skiller, and Beeve, and Huffenstein, and Esper, and DFK Elite, and all the other people I played. Dragonfly Tales. Yeah. Really good weekend of games. Played Franz. Franz clapped these cheeks. You know it. He did beat me with the Berserker, demonstrating the fact that it is a skill issue. What else? I think turn one advantage and how that plays out is going to be a real aspect of the meta for the game, just because it kind of gives you the most ability to set up from the beginning what you're trying to set up without needing to react. Like just being the first one to take an action is powerful. And I had a few games that I was trying out on Sunday night, Monday morning, where I was running double Archer with, I think, a Warrior in the front, maybe a Knight. One of the two. And the Archers, I was running Hunter's Mark, and the Archers both have pretty high agility. And I would take their first turn to use Hunter's Mark with each of them. Hopefully, like in the ideal situation, you would mark up 2 on each of the enemies. And then you have the stacking. -5 evasion turns into -10 right off the rip. -15 physical defense turns into -30 right off the rip. They take their first set of turns, and then you're just kind of prepared to do some immense damage to them with your other abilities. So I really liked that. That seemed to work well. I have some games against Esper that I didn't stream, but I did record, and I'm gonna make some content with that. He was really, really, really fun to play against. He tried 4 or 5 different builds against me, and I just did the same one every time with my double Archer with Hunter's Mark. I think I did stream it a little bit on Monday, that strategy. So yeah, really liked it. Tried a bunch of different Archer strategies. All of the builds feel strong in their own way. Sharpshooter is a really interesting snipe kind of play. The fact that it's a channel can be aggravating, but at the same time, it is very powerful, in my opinion. I think it's good. I think all 3 of the Archer builds feel good, right? Like all 3 of the paths. One Small Stone had some pretty good moments. Kupo bopped me with it. Kupo just absolutely bopped me with my own luck Archers, which was good. What else about the weekend would I want to talk about? What else? Support, I think, might be really strong. I don't know if we fully understand the power of supports yet in this game. I don't know. I felt like I kind of feel like a half and half team of damage and support for all 3 heroes could be very good, but maybe hard countered by like a triple Archer comp. I think tanks they feel good. They're kind of hard to kill if you spec them into the physical defense, at least with the current options on the table. Mostly being like Archer and the melee is doing damage. Some people do run the priest damage, and the seer has some damaging spells usually, but it's not like a focus. So I think if you were to run though a half and half for all of your heroes, it would be good. Oh yeah, also what Worm said is truth. Prayer of Might is crazy good. It's amazing for setting up combos. You start that sharpshooter channel, you drop Prayer of Might while they're channeling, and you just they send it. That's pretty cool stuff. Really, really strong. And speed. It was also stronger than I expected on the priest. They really made people a lot faster than I expected, but that was with very high vit priests. Just to be clear, it was like adding 30 to 40. So I don't know if 20 vit priest would have the same impact because speed procs off of the what's the word I'm looking for? Vitality. It's just like a raw vitality bonus. One times vit agi. Yeah, so you also have that heal, but I was talking about that buff. It felt really strong. I didn't see anyone really go full heal, which does intrigue me because I did see a lot of people use the full health potions, right? So there seems to be a big difference in players' minds between using that potion and getting the exhaust versus using this heal so you can have another, or using that potion and not getting the exhaust versus using this heal so you can keep your budget open but taking the exhaust. Prayer of Might plus repeating shot was almost an insta-kill. Yeah, in some cases, but it did require like enough setup. Like I saw Hardened Shield deal with it pretty well. So basically just counters the Prayer of Might somewhat. And I felt like tanks were like with like not low health ones, but the ones who had decently health leveled up, like average, were able to kind of deal with that pretty well. So it's interesting. The shield might be really good on the priest, the single bubble for dealing with that. Just kind of adding a bunch of health to one hero's health bar, right? But like above what they have to start with, because you kind of just need them to have a bigger bar. That for seers, right? That might be something. But then you have to have double support, which is like then gets into a lot of complaints. What else did I want to talk about that I liked about the game? Really fun. I really like it. I'm tuckered out because of work this week. I've just been grinding, so that's why. Like, don't mistake my lack of energy as relating to the DFK PvP weekend, because that I was so energized for. I like got up Monday morning. I played some more games. I've watched like all of the streams. Like multiple times, most of them from the weekend. Just listening to everyone talk through what they're thinking is very interesting, especially when you can see two sides of the same match, because it's just like, wow, they're worried about something that like I wasn't even thinking of, but actually is better, and it's kind of interesting because I think there's this aspect that when you're playing and you get to that moment where like I've taken the action and now I see that it is my enemy's turn, and like it's out of your hands now, right? Your brain, like the human threat assessment brain, just goes into what is the worst thing that's going to happen to me right now. And in that mode, you actually find out what like the other person's best move is. So I thought that was kind of fun and interesting. Like you see people be like, oh well, he could use this here, and then I would be able to do that. And I was like, oh dude, why didn't I think of that? What basic trait, if any, did I think was not impactful? You know, I have a hard time with that one. Because I like the basics pretty much. I think they're good and well balanced. Cleanse, is perhaps the most difficult, but also the easiest in some situations to get value out of, right? You either have a lot of debuffs or just that one critical one. But I was able to get value out of pretty much all of these at some point during the 2 weekends. The trait that I found the hardest to get value out of is actually explosion. And even just kind of comparing it to the basic traits, they do like what, one attack, I think, worth of damage. And then the explosion does 1.5 to the primary target, and then 0.75 to each of the other two targets. So like half the damage that it does to the primary, it does to the other two heroes. So you're getting like in a theoretical world 3x attack there, right? Which is should feel like a huge upgrade. But when using it, it's like very rarely do I get much value out of hitting, the two side guys with half of a basic attack. And the damage to the primary target usually isn't kind of big enough to really make a difference either. I did try to make it usable and force it in a couple situations, but it was just eh. That said, though, apparently it's absurd insane when used on some berserkers. And I do recognize that they have to kind of balance with edge cases in mind like that, especially for like one that impacts a whole class. So I don't know how they fix it, honestly. I would be more into like a 50% chance to daze the two side targets and make the damage to the primary target like 2x. I think that would be much better. I would actually try to work that in probably. What else? Worm's going off right now. This is good for me. What basic? So I think cleanse is the least. Yeah, I think it is. I agree with you that it is the least impactful. But your original question was what if I didn't think any were one that if I thought any were not impactful, and I did actually in a few games get a lot of value out of cleanse against poisons where I'd used a lot of battle budget and I was able to I was able to use a turn on the cleanse when I otherwise was like waiting a turn to start a new combo because of the cooldowns and the amnesia. I think if explosion had an increased CSC, it would be a lot better. Now that's an interesting idea. I like that too. I would be cool with that as an experiment on it. I mean, I'd be cool with pretty much anything, but just, if we're going to look for something to experiment on, I think explosion's a good target. Yeah. Have you talked exalted traits yet? So I thought exalted traits were interesting. So the changes felt really impactful to resurrect. I thought resurrect looked and felt a whole lot better because of that ward. Like honestly, I saw it value, and you force a decision, right? Do I waste a turn removing this ward, or do I try to kill a secondary target instead? And I think resurrect is kind of there, honestly, in my opinion. Second life, I still kind of struggle with, but I think part of that is that I don't understand why my hero sometimes ends up where they do on the speed bar, right? The time bar. Because I cannot, in the games where I've seen it and used it, I cannot kind of figure out how their starting position when they die impacts their position on the bar. And then what they added to it is this like additional initiative. But I already have no idea kind of how to figure out what's happening in that time when they die and like when their next turn is. So that one was like kind of an invisible change, and it didn't feel impactful because like I had several games where it was just like it felt like the guy had initiative removed and not added, right? It felt like he had been pushed back instead of put forward in the time bar. So I don't think Second Life's there, but I thought Resurrection felt a lot more impactful. And it was fun watching the tournament and seeing a bunch of times where people were making one-for-one trade decisions. If you listen to Office Hours last week, that was what I kind of talked about, how the base level theory is trying to get a trade where you lose 0 of your heroes and you get 1 of theirs, right? And frequently you see situations where you can get a 1-for-1 trade, and Resurrect and Second Life dramatically change the math in that situation. And I think So many people were playing it, but Danimals, Second Life, Warrior got a lot of play in that, and I don't remember which game it was. I really should rewatch that now. Um, but I know someone at least a couple times did a really good job of just being like, "Yeah, I'm gonna let you kill this guy. I don't care." Because I can get value out of using this attack, and I can bring him back afterwards and like get that trade and turn it into a 0-for-1 trade because of my trait. And I like that. That's really the major benefit of those traits, in my opinion, is the ability to turn that tie situation on its head, where it's now a situation where you have 3 left and they only have 2. Because right then it kind of works just like a repeating shot. Your one hero's left exhausted because of the play you made, but you are up in heroes, and now they have like this window to try to turn it. And if you were just, yeah, so sorry, I don't know where I was going with that. If you were just, we'll strike that from the record. We'll edit this in post. But yeah, those are kind of my primary thoughts on Second Life and Resurrect. Second Life, I think a lot of the problem with it comes with like I don't have a clue where they're gonna go on the time bar. And it makes it hard to evaluate whether the 750 initiative change really did anything. I thought it was gonna like basically the way I thought it was gonna work was it was gonna basically move them to like the next turn or almost the next turn after they died, so that they could then choose how to expend that exhaust turn. Do I pop a pot? Do I pass? Do I reposition? Do I use a basic attack to get the trade? Right? And that wasn't at all how it felt in practice in the games. And so maybe it was just that I was expecting the wrong thing. But if that wasn't what they tried to do with the initiative thing, then I don't understand the buff. Put it that way. What else? Yeah, double support rules. It is the hot. Honestly, it's the hot. But I actually think speed and damage over time effects are very interesting because, in this game, speed equals more turns on average, but more turns against the dot team equals more damage. So I played a game against Mega, and it really actually surprised me because I was caught by surprise by this effect. I hadn't really considered it when I was making my move. But he had double dotted me up with the Hunter's Mark. And then I was like, Luck Archer's turn. It's barrage time, baby, right? So I took my first damage of the double Hunter's Mark. And then I used barrage. And before his next turn, I took my second damage of the double Hunter's Mark, leaving my hero at like half health, just going right into his turn. So that was like, that's kind of how you punish the speed or the jumping forward strategies, is by using these damage over times to really kind of make them incur that damage more frequently. And also like in situations like that there where I'm taking this extra little hit before the start of your series of turns, so you now have this opportunity to kill me. So I thought that was really good. What else chat? Yeah, overall great weekend, great fun. I really can't wait for it to, like, private matches alone, even being public, would make me really happy. I like just going up against people's like teams of their dopest heroes that they were the most proud of. That felt really cool. Mine were legendary, and they still did all right most of the time. I did feel outclassed in some games, but I don't think it was undeservedly so. I don't think it was unfair outclassing. I think I was outclassed in the hero building department, which is an aspect of the game. And we'll talk about that when I do those episodes when I do that voiceover for the recording I did of the games I played with Esper, because truly and completely, his heroes outclass mine on every level, except maybe speed. But query whether that matters. And I have a little story that I'm going to try to build into the video cut that I'm making. But like I said, works crazy. So I'm going to my goal is to get that up before the weekend. Don't expect it quickly. If anyone else has other questions or things they wanted to talk about from the weekend, let me know. Otherwise, I did send DFK Helper to go get me some matches in Sarandale, and I think it's time to just grate I think it's time to just send it on these. All right, sorry, I was reading an email there. Cool. I sent myself the links. Now it's time to just kind of see what mutations it recommends for me. All right, all right. So I'm here on Serendale. I have my common foragers on Serendale, and I just ran DFK helpers find match like all in my Serendale wallet function, and it's deciding. My computer's deciding now is a great time to just not load the DFK website. I don't know why. There it is. There it is. So let's check it out. 10 summons, 8 summons, not terrible. Ooh, yeah, nice. So we got class, subclass, all these. Yeah, we're going to send this one. So this is what I'm doing for my commons. It's just like letting luck just kind of run wild. Let's see. What's 5 jewel get me? Yeah, 347. Cool. That's plenty of jade. So I'm just trying to get rarity out of all of these common summons. And these guys are otherwise here just kind of doing God's noble work to get the Swift Thistle. They're just out here grinding away. A lot of them were due for a level up, and I was like, you know what? You're due for some hard labor over in Serendale. You know? That's what you're due for. So let's get this summon going. So what was it again? Tristan Canarappa. Nice. Nice. Cool name. And Austin, spelled funky, Evanor. Nice. Yeah, their summons don't match, but they're commons. Do I really care that much? You know, that's kind of my theory here. Let's see what the second one was that DFK helpers sent me. It was, all right, ooh, a bard with a monk. Now that's intriguing. 4/4, 5/5. What do they got down here? So subclass mutation, 3 potentials. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's send this one. Right, I gotta finish sending this one. Derp. So yeah, 52 jade. What's that? What's that? I don't even care. It's like, is jade even a penny? So even a tenth of a penny? I'm not sure it is. All right, so now this new one is this guy, and then this is one I can get rid of. This new one is this guy. Add. So yeah, shout out to Zellies. I really just wanted to show this off on stream because I'm having fun playing with it so much, and it's making my life. Oh, I blew it. I blew that, chat. It's making my life easier though, because I just kind of queue up a bunch of these summons that he recommends on my commons without too much thought because they're common. Really, it's just a crapshoot anyway. I'm just trying to get the mutations of any kind, class, subclass, trait, hair. I don't care. And you can kind of tune your settings you want. I'm the lazy user, though. I use the default whatever screw it settings. Just find me a pair. And I'm going to get 5 summons going that Zellies recommends for me. And by that, I mean the DFK Helper auto summon matcher. And I just used him, so that one's a no-go. See, this does happen because it's just finding mutes. But like, it's not a big deal. It gives me 20 options. And like I said, I'm not picky at all with these heroes. These are my just, you know, bottom barrel. I need to use the summons. It's going to be a slow process. I don't want to overthink it while you're all foraging. Mythic fucking vibes. Yeah, I want to get 5 up. I think this is the 3rd one. I mean, maybe I get a mythic. I think it's... if I get foragers, it's kind of cool with me. Yeah. Like, hey, ooh, wrong thing. Did I impact stream with that? No, thank goodness. Okay. All right. Ooh, Hecate. Nice name. Did I already do this one? This looks familiar. Nope, I apparently did not do that guy. Did I do you? No. Wow. Nice. See? A little double muty there. And also, what else they got? I didn't even look. Nice. 2 in the basics. Cool. Sometimes it finds me elite and advanced mutations. It'll give those higher scores if it finds those. I did get one earlier today when I just did a couple summons in the morning using this exact same method of finding pairs. Basically brain dead. which is my ideal state for having fun and playing games. Ooh, Tess Tallman. Did I just use you? 10 of 10 with 3 of 4? Ah, that's a bit wasteful. For a double mutant, a subclass, we'll go to the next one, see what else we can find. We'll see what else is out there. It's a bit wasteful. All right, this is less wasteful. Less wasteful. Yeah, cool. Sounds good. We got a little recessive action there to back up those chances. That's cool with me. And this is number 5. Yay. Nice. So this we're going to close out the stream with. I gave my general dissertation on the last weekend of PvP. In short, I love it. In short, having withdrawals. In short, need to not do that. That's such a reflex. I forgot what I was even saying. In short, need more people playing, need to have the game back in my hands, and need to play more because I love it. It's really fun. The strategy is really fun. It's great playing against another person and being surprised by what they do and trying to react and see if you can like finagle your way to a win. And I would really just the more classes that come out, this game is going to be wild with the combinations that you can do. It's already very dynamic, even with the limited classes that we have. Like just the way like each game flows and plays depending on what your enemy brings. And I could just see it becoming really, really, really crazy. The possibilities are really endless for team building. So, Mythic Vibes, let's go. Oh, the link is expired for my channel? Well, that's rough. I gotta probably update it. I didn't realize. I will do that for next week, though. This week's pretty much almost done. Nope, just a common. Didn't hit any mutes. What did I? Oh, did I get foraging? Yeah, it's perfect. So he goes into the army of Swift Thistle gatherers. Have any of you tried to use expeditions for like power leveling a hero yet? I feel like it's quite a costly proposition to go from like super low levels all the way up. Even just a few of the high levels is pretty costly. Oh, Mythic Squad. I don't have the link to Mythic Squad Discord. I thought only Iron Belly had the official link. Can you DM it to me? It expires after a certain amount of time, Beeve. That's that's a security feature we added. So, exhaust, leadership, solid. I think one of those was a pull through. Got some muties though. That's the goal. I want to give this kind of wallet just more to work with. Earlier today I hit a blue paladin. This is cool. Sent him back to the main wallet. And I hit an uncommon with last stand and summons. Damn. Another exhaust. Okay, cool. I got the efficient pulled up. That was the one that pulled up. Man, no color at all. That's fine though, because this is the whole point of this, is just burning out these summons for cheap on Serendale. 5 jewel. I do all of these summons for 5 jewel. I don't know what that is in crystal terms, but like, hey, 5 heroes? I'll take it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, after this summon, I'm going to call it and get back to work. And I appreciate you all. Costly, but very efficient. This isn't costly. It's on Serendale. It's not much at all. Ah, nice. I got more. That's the whole reason I'm doing it on Serendale. I would not do this on Crystal Vale at all. 0%. 0. But yeah, so I got to get back to work now. I will talk to you all later. I appreciate you all hanging out, and I hope you like the takes on PvP. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And yeah.